Good evening, this is Jacqueline with Telestiq Journey, and happy Valentine's week. I wanted to, before I start this spread, this is for the Divine Masculine or for Divine Feminine who may resonate. I know some say that it's kind of interchangeable depending. But I did a twin flame general relationship spread earlier this week. If you want to go back and look at that, I'll go ahead and link it in a box up at the top here. And other than that, before I get started on a look at the Divine Masculine for this week, for Valentine's week, I do want to mention that I do offer relationship readings. They're psychic readings, and if you would like to schedule one of those with me, it will be covering, if say you and your twin are, you know each other, you're in a relationship, and or even if there's a separation going on, or if you're in any other relationship that you would like to explore the dynamics of that relationship, I can certainly go into your Akashic Record and take a look at what's going on at a soul level between you and that partner or you and that other person. You will certainly learn about any blockages that are coming up between you and the other person within that relationship. You'll be able to explore your soul groups. I'll bring up what your soul group is, your soul's personal spiritual gifts, and your soul specialization. So that will explore how you all, both you and your partner, within the relationship dynamic, are trying to express yourself on a soul level. And sometimes that in and of itself can create some relationship dynamics that need to be compromised, and so that really helps bring more clarity to what's really going on a deeper soul level between the two people. And if there are energetic blockages, if there are soul contracts, it'll also give you an idea of if that person has a true contract or karma or anything else yet to be fulfilled with another person. And also a look at any past lives that you all have had together. So if you have had a past life together, briefly within the reading, I will state how many past lives you've been together, if it was as a family member, if it was as a lover or a husband and wife, anything along those lines. And if it is significant to the reading itself, then I'll bring out any details about any of those past lives that may be contributing to this one particularly. So if you would like to get that relationship reading and order that this week for Valentine's, or I'll even extend it through the next 2 weeks, or say through the end of February, so Valentine's month, we'll say, then go ahead, and if you go to the PayPal donation link below in the description box, then go ahead and I'll normally that relationship reading, because of the work required to go through all of that, then normally it's $85 for that reading, but I will do it for $60 from now and the end of February. So it's a very, very helpful reading. So I think, and I price my readings based on what I feel like you'll get out of it, not just information wise, and curiosity wise, but constructive information that you can apply toward your relationships. Okay. Now, and I'm sorry, and at that point, whenever I receive that, in the you can send to my email, or you can put in the notation box on the PayPal donation for $60 that you want that particular reading, and then I will contact you in order to schedule the reading and get your information. So okay, in any case, I will go ahead and start the reading now. So at the central issue for the Divine Masculine this week, he has the Six of Pentacles and this was the King of Wands. Yeah, so this was the clarifier. And the Six of Pentacles, so the masculine is in a state of, I feel like wanting to give. He's wanting to open himself up. I know in the past this has been constantly coming up for the masculine, or between the masculine and the feminine. So I feel like this, give and exchange of energy, the energy flow between the two, masculine and feminine, has opened up significantly. Whether or not we've seen that within the 3D manifestation, but it's under the surface. It's like flowing under the surface. But the masculine is, I think this is coming more to the forefront for the masculine this week. And, there's something, whether it be a gift, whether it be, his time, his energy, his effort, that he's really looking to manifesting in this relationship and in the circumstances surrounding the two of you, okay? And with the King of Wands, there's just so much heartfelt desire and passion and, creative effort, constructive effort to work toward that, and to really see that his efforts are solidified. And I really feel a burning heart with this. I feel a burning of the heart, like that his heart is on fire, and that for a lot of divine masculines, he's just so grateful to be able to give. Like there's something that he wants to give to the feminine, okay? And so, and a lot of the fire energy can be very optimistic as well. In the upright, it's not, as a clarifier, this is not a manipulative. So sometimes, the wands in reverse can be manipulation. It can be kind of that playboy, like, one night stand energy sometimes, something along those lines, just wanting to give something to get something. But I don't get that feeling here. Like, I feel like his heart is really radiating for the feminine, and that there's something he wants to give. And in some circumstances, this may be that with love and with love and passion in mind, he's wanting to see this equal exchange of time and energy and all of that between the masculine and feminine. But so yeah, I definitely feel like for a lot of masculines, there's something coming out this week that something has happened, that he's really a burning desire in his heart that's causing him to want to come out with something to give the feminine. And part of this is in the mental space. Actually, let me start in the recent past. So I know this past week, I was talking about how the feminine needed to heed a call to action in order to, sorry, my nose is kind of itchy. Heed a call to action in order to create a catalyst for the change necessary within the dynamics of the relationship, to clean up, pick up all the pieces of what was not right, not going right, what needed to be fixed in the foundation between the masculine and the feminine, in order to move forward with a clean slate, basically, to lay that new foundation, to set the stage for the future. And so I feel like for some, this has happened. And so this conflicting energy here in the recent past is something that, has brought kind of a, not really a standstill to the alchemization. It's brought an imbalance. It's brought kind of a standstill to the flow of the alchemization of creation between the masculine and feminine in some ways. But in the sense, and there's some other cards that are clarifying this that I'll bring up in a moment, but in the sense that the masculine is now having to reconfigure, he's having to evaluate exactly how things are going. So don't panic, don't panic. It's good. It's all good. It's just, let me explain in a moment. I'll get to the rest of the cards, but something has definitely conspired. I feel like maybe there was some heated arguments, some debates. I feel like there was a boiling point that reached between a lot of twins potentially. And, so that has brought, us to, a point where we're like, okay, well, we're going to have to seek another way to come into harmony. Okay. And, we're going to have to rebalance things again. We've done a lot of balancing on the exterior, but we need to focus now on our relationship between the masculine and feminine. Specifically, we need to focus on the two of us, regardless of what else is going on the outside. So within the mental space, I feel like that has caused this Ace of Cups in reverse. And this Ace of Cups in reverse, I really feel like the masculine feels at a loss. I feel like he has lost, and this is the Lovers. So I feel like he's lost his love. And he feels like maybe he's let her down terribly. He's thinking that he's ruined this love. He's feeling as though maybe he's lost his chance to love, and he feels like he's in just a space of loss. And I'm sorry I keep repeating that word, but it keeps coming up that way. And you know what? I feel like this is a sinking heart as well. So it's funny because yesterday, and I was talking with a friend about this, we both yesterday in the middle of the day kind of got this weird random sinking feeling. Like I had just done a reading with a gentleman, another relationship reading between he and his wife, and when we got done and I got off the phone and everything, or we got off our Skype session, I turned around and I went to make myself some tea. So I went into the kitchen, and as I was walking that way, all of a sudden, I felt this, like my heart just drop into my stomach. Like, kind of like when your crush dumps you and or like you find out a really terrible news or something, and, your heart kind of flutters and pounds, and it just sinks right into your stomach, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just like you just feel like you were just punched in the gut and your breath just taken away or something. It's just that shocking feeling, that sinking dread. And that's what I felt. And the first intuition, the first impulse that came to me was that I was feeling something my masculine was feeling. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, he's felt something, like his heart has dropped. Like he feels this grief, this sadness, this loss, like really, really deeply resonating loss. And I feel like that's what this is. I feel like he is recognizing, if there was this confrontation of something coming to the surface, or if that's what's happening this week, and on your particular timeline with your circumstances, you're approaching this point. The masculine, he's gonna feel this. I feel like this is something he has not felt before, like not within this relationship to this degree, okay? I feel like he feels like he's lost it. Like mentally, he knows. This is in his mind. He's losing his chance, okay? And he feels like he's lost love. Okay, and that puts him in a space where in his action this week, where he's being compelled to see, this is the Eight of Swords, And normally this is this entrapment, this kind of fear-based, like staying where you're at, not being able to remove yourself from a circumstance or from a mode of thought or something like that. So the Emperor in reverse, and it's funny, the Emperor and the Empress both come up here in reverse again today. But I feel like whatever has happened and transpired between the masculine and feminine, that this is causing him to, it's compelling him, it's drawing him, like, without even thinking, like he's being pulled out of this mental prison. He's being pulled out of whatever mental thoughts and circumstances, whatever way of thinking that he was stuck in before, however he was viewing things before, he's being sucked out of that. And that is putting him in a state where he's feeling, he may be feeling this temperance kind of imbalance, just overall, but I feel like it's forcing him to put himself in a space of uncharted territory, of unfamiliar grounds that he's having now to tread upon. So he's taken the blindfold off, and once he steps through those prison bars, those swords, out into the fields, out into the rest of the world, he can suddenly see what's around him, and more clearly, I feel like he's seeing what is around him, but all of a sudden it seems new to him. It seems very different, and he's approaching it from a totally different way of approach, and it's a little uncomfortable, but he's absolutely being compelled. He feels out of control of the situation. I feel like he feels out of control, like he's lost control of the circumstances, he's lost control of the love. And it's nice, this Lovers is still here in the upright, so this is still this is not lost. This is still the motivating factor. I feel like whatever is happening, this love, this divine union, divine partnership, this divine love, unconditional love, this is the motivating factor for that. And because he owns that, because that unconditional love is within his truth of his heart, that is why he feels this loss, like, oh my gosh, I effed up, or I need to act really fast and like fix something, or I need to do this, or whatever it is to resolve this conflict that has been occurring. And maybe this King of Wands is about action, and so maybe this week he's taking action toward that by stepping out of this prison, by stepping out of the usual way of doing things into that zone of discomfort, and in order to bring gifts, in order to actually bring into fulfillment that equal give and receive, and to make things right, and to find that new balance, and to bring this Temperance card back into the upright. And what I'm getting also is that, in the challenge position, we have, this Ten of Pentacles again. It's been this difficulty bringing this about, but earlier this week, it was in the recent past that we were recognizing that this has yet to be fulfilled. We're still manifesting this. We're trying to build this house and home and family. And so now this is more in the present, and so he's more aware of this now, that this is what we're trying to build, that we really need to buckle down and manifest. And it's clarifying the Nine of Wands in reverse. So he's built up. This can still be resources. It can be that you've built up, you've fortified your position, you've fortified and you're defending and you're standing strong in in what you have built and gained up to this point. And maybe in reverse, this is more like the fallen warrior who's kind of exhausted and feels like he can't get back up sometimes, or feels like a little defeated. So I feel like there may be some sense of defeat for some masculine, that because they have not been able to supply this yet for the feminine, because now they're really seeing things from a new light because of certain truths that are coming out, because of certain confrontations that are happening. And these don't all have to be bad confrontations, but over here in the external circumstances and outcome, I just saw this as a pattern. Earlier this week we also had the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups, but they were in the upright. And the message earlier, which is in the twin flame general spread, was that they were aligning their hearts, genuine, sincere hearts and intentions with this relationship. And that is still the case. But what we have, I feel like, with this Temperance in reverse, you see how she has the two bottles, or the two vases here, and she's pouring the liquids kind of back and forth. And for me, it's kind of similar with the two cups that the King and Queen of Cups are holding. Well, and earlier this week they were in the upright, now they're in the reverse. So what I'm getting here is that there's a clash of hearts. I feel like it's this tidal wave, that whatever this confrontation is that needs to happen, that maybe hasn't happened yet for some, or maybe it is in the process of happening, or has already been happening, that there's a tidal wave, that like as we're aligning our hearts and intentions, we're having to equalize all of the other feelings, all of the other emotions, all of the other things within the spiritual, within the psyche, within the underlying heart of everything else going on around us. And I feel like or even within the relationship. So I see these two as like a tidal wave, and say you have these two tidal waves that they crash together and they create this tumultuous scene, or maybe it's kind of like a hurricane and you have this kind of chaotic moment. But then nature always seeks to find a new balance, and so I feel like this may have been a clash of hearts. And now that we're really expressing the heart, and we're allowing that upwelling, those things to come up and come out and become expressed in their fullness, because there were things that were out of balance here, then at that point we can bring this back, we can transmute it back into those calm waters, and then that's when we will have these two in the upright again. So that's what I'm getting here. And as soon as the masculine, as soon as we have that, then the emotional circumstances that we've built up in the relationship, all of the hard feelings, anything else, will be made right, and we will be finding that will ground us into the new manifestation that we're looking for. But we have to be able to ground these emotions again. So there's just something going on with the emotions. I feel like those are really coming up to the surface. Now in the fears position, hopes and fears, we have the Four of Cups in reverse with the Tower as a clarifier. And I feel like this is a fear this week for the masculine, is that there's this chaos ensuing, and whatever this chaos is that's ensuing, or that he fears will become worse, or destroy the relationship, like he feels like he's lost it already. Whatever that is, this is pushing him to a space where he can no longer be complacent, and he has to really take a hard look at what he has and get to acting on that. And because, what else do I have here? So in the overall energy, because this applies to it, we have the Six of Cups in reverse, which is obviously, you know, he's being forced right now as we're confronting things, you know, we're picking up the pieces, we're confronting what needs to be fixed in the relationship. He's thinking back, and he's not just thinking back and being nostalgic, but he's thinking back on what has, well, here, hold on. Let me bring this up first. So we had that with the Ace of Pentacles for the new start in our physical world. And then we have the Hanged Man and the Ten of Swords. So what I got from this first is that the masculine is in a space where all this has come up, where he feels like he's losing his feminine now, like she may be moving on. Something has happened to make him feel like he's lost control. And, you know, here, so he's moving out of his comfort zone. And I feel like this Hangman is saying the masculine has seen things from the other side, that he is looking back with this Six of Cups. He's looking back, and he's being forced to see things maybe from the other side of the coin. So, and that's funny because here's the coin. So if the feminine had her perspective all along, and the masculine had his perspective, and they both know they're on the same road, but they're experiencing it in a very different way. This conflict, this clash of hearts, this uprising of whatever's coming to the surface this week has caused the masculine to perceive everything more from the feminine's perspective, or from that perspective of, wow, I had no idea that this is how she understands and perceives these circumstances. And see, the Ten of Swords is your thoughts, your beliefs, your you know, even intentions, you know, but your words. So I had no idea. And so the swords are also your words, your messages. And so maybe the feminine said some hurtful things to the masculine to snap him out of whatever they're in right now. And if that's the case, wow, those sharp words, I'm getting it now. Like, I get it. You know, I'm in a space where I'm seeing it from the other side. So he's looking back, he's reviewing everything, and he's saying, wow, okay, wow, okay, wow, okay. Well, that's causing me to step out of this Eight of Swords. I'm moving. Okay, I got it. I don't want to lose control anymore. But this is bringing about, this is helping to bring about this new phase of abundance, this new beginning, to help materialize this, because he has to have that realization. And I feel like this is kind of the feminine, just as a clarifier, and the Page of Swords also, like, you know, the masculine's kind of been holding still a little bit with this new beginning. They know what they want. Maybe they talked about it a little bit, but hadn't really taken solid action yet. And I almost get like, look, okay, this is kind of bad of me, but Justice, I feel like this is kind of the feminine pointing a sword at his balls, like, dude, if you don't do something, I'm gonna enforce my wrath upon you, and just look where I have the sword pointed. So you better be ready. Like, you better do something, because there has to be some sort of justice served here. Like, there's justice being served, I feel like, for some people this week, whether that is for some legal actions in certain karmic situations, whatever it is. So, now, because he has been reviewing and realizing and like really perceiving these things from an alternate perspective this week, like really hardcore. This isn't like, oh yeah, I'm having a dark night of the soul or a hard time with my karmic, and so I'm learning to you know, perceive circumstances from a different spiritual light, something having to do with my awakening, you know, I don't know. But this is like, no, he's being set to put himself in the shoes of his feminine, or to really see things from the other side of the fence this time. And this has put him on a standstill for this manifestation for a minute, that he's not moving yet, because right, you know, from this emotional space of like, damn, like I just got hit hard, like slap in the face hard. And it's just like shocked him. I feel a sense of shock, and like just like his heart dropped in his chest. And so in any case, but because of all of this, he's letting go. He is having, if he was clinging to anything in this outcome, if he was clinging to something too long and not relinquishing what was necessary to be let go, I feel like he's in a position to do that now. And to with the Fool, he's going to well, sorry, hold on. So with this, you know, the clash of hearts, the clash of emotions, whatever tumultuous thing is ensuing, that whatever it was being clung to too tight, that he wasn't prepared to relinquish yet, that he wasn't ready to leave that Eight of Swords moment, then that is facilitating this Fool moment. So he's like, damn, I'm leaping off the cliff, you know, like I'm going to step into that discomfort zone. I'm going to do what I need to do now because I'm feeling compelled. I'm feeling compelled. There's so many cards in here where he's feeling compelled. He's like literally, beginning to take that action to mend everything, because he is feeling like he's seeing his whole world, his love, this whole thing fall apart. He feels like he's lost so much already, just with that in the back of his mind. So, you know, feminines, like I said earlier this week, if you're having to take action to facilitate and become a catalyst for some of that, do it. You know, do what you are led to do out of love, and do it in a loving manner. Because here in the essence of what the divine masculine is really focused on is his feminine in the reverse, with this Knight of Wands in reverse. And you know, that is also that his abundance and prosperity, the fulfillment that he's had, you know, some sense of within this union, he is seeing that what if that's taken away? What if, you know, I lose out? What if I don't take action? And